Welcome back to our deep dive into the titans of the S&P 500. For our third explainer, we're tackling a company you think you know inside and out, Apple. But I promise you, by the end of this, you're going to see it in a completely new light. Okay, let's just jump right in with a big question. What if a company that feels like it's already everywhere, a true giant of our time, still has massive room to run? I know, it sounds a little counterintuitive, right? But the reality is, while everyone knows Apple, most people are only seeing the tip of the iceberg. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and show you the massive, hidden power that's working right under the surface. And for anyone who's new here, that's exactly what this series is all about. We don't just look at the shiny new products, we pop the hood to see what really makes these giants tick. And with Apple, that engine is what we're focused on today. And of course, a quick but very important note, this is all for educational purposes. It is not financial advice, so please always do your own research. All right, let's get into it. Section 1, the Apple you don't know. We're going to start by smashing the most common myth about the company. So the common thinking is that Apple is basically just an iPhone company. And look, the iPhone is a monumental success, no doubt. But the reality is so much bigger. Apple isn't a product company. It's an ecosystem, this whole world of interconnected hardware, software, and services, all designed to work perfectly together. So what does that ecosystem actually look like in the real world? Well, that brings us to Section 2, more than a product. So what are the building blocks here? You can see them. It all starts with the hardware, right? And it's powered by its own unique software. But the real magic, the secret sauce, comes from the services and subscriptions, this growing universe of wearables, and the glue that holds it all together, almost unbreakable customer loyalty. Every single piece makes the other stronger. And this is the perfect illustration of how it works. It's a flywheel. For most people, it starts with an iPhone. Then, because they work so seamlessly, you add some AirPods. Then maybe you need a new laptop, and a MacBook just makes sense. Before you know it, you're subscribed to iCloud or Apple Music, and boom, you're fully locked into this incredibly valuable ecosystem. And that lock-in brings us to the absolute core of our explainer today. Section 3, the real money maker. Because while the hardware is what gets you in the door, it's not where the real sustainable value is hiding. Here's the key idea. A one-time sale is great, but then it's over. What investors truly value is recurring revenue, that predictable, stable stream of cash you get from things like subscriptions. It's pretty much the holy grail of business models. Okay, so take a look at Apple's revenue from a recent quarter, a massive $95.4 billion. You see the familiar slices, right? iPhone, Mac, iPad, wearables. But then, look at this other huge piece, labeled with just 3 question marks. That is the part we really need to talk about. This slice, the one that's so often overlooked, is exactly where the secret to Apple's future growth lies. This is the engine we've been talking about. And there's the number, $26.6 billion. That is the revenue from services in a single quarter. I mean, to put that in perspective, that one slice is bigger than the annual revenue of many Fortune 500 companies. That is the power of the ecosystem at work. So now that we see the scale of this services business, let's look at the proof of its power in Section 4. These numbers show this is not a company that's slowing down. It all starts with the sheer scale of the network. There are over 2.5 billion active Apple devices in the world. And think about it, each one isn't just a piece of hardware. It's an entry point to that services ecosystem. It is an unmatched, built-in customer base. And this is what happens to the bottom line. In a recent quarter, Apple reported earnings per share growth of 19%. That means profits are growing at a staggering rate for a company of this size. You don't see that kind of explosive growth from a weak business. This is a company firing on all cylinders. So when you put all these numbers together, the picture is crystal clear. This isn't a company on the decline. It's a fortress with immense pricing power, legendary customer loyalty, and a scale that competitors can only dream of. Which brings us to our final section, the billion-dollar lesson. So what can we all take away from understanding Apple on this deeper level? Let's be really clear, the lesson here isn't that Apple is some hidden gem. Everyone on the planet knows Apple. The real goal is to understand the mechanics of why a company this massive continues to be so dominant. It's about understanding the how. And that gets to the very heart of smart investing. It's not always about finding the next secret startup.
More often than not, it's about deeply understanding the fundamental reasons why great businesses just keep on winning. And that's our whole goal with every explainer in this series. We're not here to give you hot tips. We're here to give you the framework, to break down the models of these giants so you can think for yourself and invest with conviction, not just follow the crowd. So if you found this breakdown valuable, hit that subscribe button because the next S&P 500 giant we're putting under the microscope is one you might not expect. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.